Hi there! So happy to see that you have found your way to this tiny little channel where we talk about my activities in the garden, which is located in the north of Europe at about 60 degrees latitude. This video is recorded in the middle of May, and it starts with capturing all of the cute little flowers that are currently blooming. There are not yet too many, but there are some surprising tulips that I did not expect to see anymore in my garden, which makes me very happy. Originally, I did plant at least 100 bulbs of different species of tulips, but by now only few of the blooms are left. The first beautiful rhododendrons are showing their blooms after a hard winter. I come back to the flowers later, but first, let's do something in the back of the garden to get it ready for autumnal installation. See this tiny slope on the right hand? Yes, this is what I'm talking about. As you can see, one cannot mow this part of the lawn with lawnmower tractor. And also the robotic lawnmowers cannot have the access to this one, as this slope is more than 50%. Yes, you can trim it with the trimmer, but I'm trying to minimize the activities in the garden here, and I want to cover this slope with something that would require at least a little bit of less work. Maybe that could be a mulch bed with some smaller blooming shrubs, or perhaps some lavendulas or oriental grasses. This place is quite shady in general. Maybe rhododendrons would do. I would love to have your ideas in here. Oh, I wish that just a normal lawn would grow in here, but instead this part is filled with the thorns and some funny sticky plants that scratch you and stick to your legs when you want to use this path to go to beach.
We're making progress!
The part I'm working on now, I would actually like to leave for the robotic lawnmowers.
In this area there are quite a bit of branches still that I haven't collected, so I have to be extra careful here.
But the question mark here is whether the reference signal would reach so far. What makes the planning tricky is the fact that the soil surface is not very equal in this part. It definitely is more moist than the other parts of my land.
Woo! Check this out.
This is the part where I would love to have some of your suggestions. I used to have a lovely mulch bed in here, which I intended to plant with some shade-loving plants. Unfortunately, they didn't survive the winters here in the back of the gardens for some reason. Maybe it was too moist, or perhaps it was just too shady overall. The thing is, I'm responsible for keeping this part of the yard still looking good, as this is part of my property. The corner point of my property is here, and actually the fence should run into this direction. Here is the drainage collector pond, and as it does not have any flow at the current moment, it is a favorite place for the mosquitoes to propagate. I'm not too happy with that part, and I would really like to change it. But again, there would be so much to dig to get this to flow to the sea. And the slope versus the grass versus the flower bed question is also on the other side of the garden, where the slope is even higher. The end of my property in the other side of the garden is even further away into this tiny little forest nearing the seaside. This is the old Estonian style border crossing stone that we use. They are distinguished with this tiny little cross on top of the stone. I really don't know how to reduce the maintenance load in this far remote side of my garden. Maybe I shouldn't worry at all. What would you do about that? I would be more than happy to consider some of your thoughts. For a couple of days, I've already noticed my cat does not want to come in, and she is sitting outside somewhere in the shade, whether behind a big terrace planter or just in the shade of the roof. The sun outside is super bright and the temperatures are around 25 to 29 degrees Celsius in the shade. So that definitely is quite a bit for our latitude. So we are trying to take it quite slow here with my cat Kitu. Isn't she just adorable? She is so cute. This is another extremely hot summer day here in the north. And I'm sitting in the backside of my garden facing the north direction there and somehow trying to find a shade and cooler spot. Luckily there is a little bit of wind outside, so if I'm not exactly sitting in the sun, it is bearable outside. So to utilize this actually beautiful weather, I decided to work a little with my rhododendrons, which are here and got heavily damaged by the snow that was falling from the roof. I'm gonna just prune them a little, remove the dead branches and hope that they can recover. And I'm gonna be totally barefoot because it's so hot. Please mind the birch tree that has also seeded itself into the rhododendron bed and has been proudly growing there for at least a couple of years. At first, I started pruning very lightly. I think these branches are dead. Checking every single branch that I cut off, whether it was actually alive or not. No, they were not alive. But look how cute that is that my cat Kitu was coming to help me. What an assistant! Kitu was not too much into the pruning of the rhododendrons, but she sure wanted to have some company. Or maybe she came to say hello to you. Oh, I was cutting off so many branches that there was hardly anything left. Shouldn't the shape of the rhododendrons be like a square? Well, this situation actually does not look too good, as the top part of the bush is actually completely gone. There's no branches left here. So I'm not sure if I can somehow support the other ones so that they would cover up the top part of the bush to create the shape. Or I don't know what I should do. Help. Luckily, the other two rhododendrons are doing a little bit better. Although it seems that none of them is blooming this year, which is of course a pity. I don't know. Somehow it feels that I've ruined this beautiful flower bed that I had here with 3 rhododendrons. I'm gonna think a little and perhaps try to support them somehow. Luckily my cat is here to comfort me whatever I decide to do with the rhododendrons. But I actually did manage to somehow tie them up using a tying band which I had for the apple trees. So that should work, at least for the time being. But I definitely need to figure out something that would protect them from the roof. The last activity for the day was to dismantle some old pieces of wood projects. Are the wood deposits that we are going to repurpose. These were old terrace pots, and as you can see they hardly rotted, but the main problem was that they just could not hold the watering at all. So everything dried out in just a matter of hours in these pots. So we're going to dismantle them. Haha, I feel I'm such a hoarder. I cannot let go any of the building materials that I could possibly use in the garden. Not sure if you can see how excited the mosquitoes are. I wish there would be some more birds to eat them all. And these were once the frames of my mini greenhouses. They look super cute, but they were quite uncomfortable to use. So in the end I had to dismantle them. And today is the last part of it. Well, in the end, it happened to be a real battle with the mosquitoes. Yeah. But I think this is all what I can do today, because I would be eaten alive. So I'm gonna go indoors and continue tomorrow, hopefully in some shade. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and sticking along with this video to the end. I wish you all the best and see you next time.